Hi, Michael. It's nice to see you today and then be with you here on this recording.
Rachelle,
Thanks.
always good to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. We're so excited to have you come speak at the Evolve Leadership Summit that we're hosting in November 2025 in the beautiful Canadian Rockies in Kananaskis, Alberta. We're so excited to have you join us. You'll be speaking about leadership presence. And I wanted to ask you right off the top, what inspired you to be part of our Evolve Leadership Summit?
Well, I've known you for a long time, and I've been to some of your events in the past. The main thing that motivated me is you always bring purpose-led leaders to your program, and I've always had such wonderful, rich conversations with the people that I've met. So when you gave me the opportunity to submit a proposal to come, I was really excited because I see it as an opportunity to really talk to leaders who want to make a difference. And that's really what I'm all about in my work. So the alignment felt really strong to me. So I'm
Mhm.
excited about that. I'm also excited to go to the Canadian Rockies, to be honest with you. I hear it's quite beautiful.
It is very beautiful, and it's usually on people's bucket list for a reason.
Yes.
And we're excited. We've been looking for an opportunity to have you come in, and because your message is very compelling, and the training work that you do is really impactful.
Great.
So our theme is bridging the wisdom of experience with the leadership of the future. What does that look like in your world right now?
Well, Rochelle, we're in an accelerated world right now. We are communicating and leading among multiple generations who have lived in an accelerated society where things are moving fast and quite different. And I think that leadership's not easy work. We know that. But I also think that leaders who aren't supporting each other, being able to adapt quickly, are finding it difficult to really lead in this accelerated world. And I think that the future of leadership isn't just our traditional notions of leadership because leadership doesn't look one way anymore. Leadership is very personal and there's no one right way to be a good leader, but you need to be one that can adapt and lead in the moment. So that's part of the leadership evolution right now.
Yeah, that really resonates with me because lots of times people, as they move into leadership, think that they have to emulate the leaders that came before them, but it's really hard to do that. It has to come from your own place. So leadership is, as you say, just isn't one way. You can have a strong leader in many different personalities. What's one shift or challenge that you see leaders navigating now that just isn't getting enough attention?
Well, I think again going back to that generational communication, I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding of maybe it's training, maybe it's conversations, maybe it's empathy. I'm hearing and I'm seeing communicating among generations, leading multi-generational workforces, but also helping the multiple generations within your team honor, respect, and understand each other. And that comes down to really being open and honest about values. And the big shift that I'm seeing is the need to talk about our values differences, our
Mm-hmm.
life experience differences. Because when you do that with teams, when you have those conversations and you allow people to really understand each other's values and strengths, when leaders can get their teams to start having a more of an open mindset about that and a curiosity about different experiences among generations, what that does is that really accelerates communication,
Mm-hmm.
innovation, minimizes conflict, fosters mutual understanding, and mostly, Rochelle, the biggest shift is people want to feel that their work matters. And when you're able to lead in a way that people feel valued and respected, no matter who they are, and that they belong in your organization has always been a critical leadership imperative. But I think in the society we're living in today, it's even more critical to get that right and to have the conversations surrounding those topics.
Mm-hmm. And I love how you're focusing it on the conversation too. And if you have open, honest conversation, you get it right together, and everyone's strengths can really shine through. And speaking of conversations, the reason we're having this summit is for leaders to be able to have really open conversations about the truth of leadership and do some peer sharing there as well. So what kind of conversations are you hoping to spark through your presentation?
So I think the leaders that come into the workshop are going to expect to amplify their personal leadership brand and get some skills for showing up in more audience-centric ways that will make them more effective. I'm confident that they'll have those takeaways from the workshop. What I'm hoping the conversations and the imperatives they take away from that workshop is finding their authentic values-based leadership style. Because you said this earlier in our conversation in a way that if you're bolting together a leadership style that's only emulating others and not being true to who you are, you will never find your strong personal brand of leadership or unique leadership presence. You have to do the work before we start talking about body language and facial expression and traits that we typically think about when we think about presence. And we need to go deeper about those core values. Are they showing up? When you communicate, are you communicating with your values? Because that can help make conversations be even more rich and effective, especially when they're difficult. Do you know what strengths you bring to the table? And do you know what strengths you need to flex a little bit more to be more effective in your role? Those things are all so fundamental, but what I see on social media and in your traditional dry leadership presence training is they skip all that. And they're just talking about behaviors that are outward facing without talking about the self-awareness and self-reflection that really needs to happen for you to find your unique brand of leadership. Because when you can ground yourself in that, I don't care if you're a quiet leader, Rachelle, if you're a bold, strong person who's happy to speak up, you can be any type of person and still have a very engaging presence. But you need to do the work to find out how you can do that in a way that's comfortable and meaningful to you. So that's what I'm hoping that they'll walk away with after the workshop is, wow, that made me think about who I am as a leader and who I want to be as a leader and how I'm going to work on my personal brand of presence to do it in a way that's authentic to me.
I think back to my early days as a leader and feeling like I had to emulate the people that came before me, and it was exhausting. And I've also heard people say, well, I pride myself on being a chameleon. I can shift myself to whoever's in the room. That's exhausting as well, but it's also hard to build trust with people when that is the approach you take. Instead, find out who you are, what your values are, have awareness of how you impact others. Also, the reason I so want people to experience what you have to say, what you have to teach, is that it's very practical. And I believe that what you've taught me and what you've taught others are skills that you could just apply right away. And even in the moment is thinking about, how do I show up?
Right.
And when there's difficult news, how do I still be authentic and help people feel comfortable? How do I think about it from the motivation of helping other people feel comfortable and be their best? And so I've always really valued the lessons that you have taught on that. Is there sort of a leadership principle or mindset that you're leaning into and that you're finding is really helpful for people right now?
Our most underutilized leadership skill is the power of active listening. We're talking about presence from a standpoint of you and how you show up. It's also about how you make people feel. And what I like about you just complimented me, and I thank you very much for complimenting me because I take great pride in the fact that it's not just about you, and it can be exhausting to have to be all these different personas and people. But when you find the part of you that's totally true to you, then you can show up for yourself in a grounded way and feel confident in that. And then you can be situationally aware of how you need to show up for someone else and adjust in the moment. Now, I'm not talking about being fake. I'm not talking about being somebody else. I'm talking about showing the parts of you that are going to matter to them and help this conversation. And very often, one of the things that's missing there is listening well. So active listening, being present in the moment, putting away the distractions that you can control, and doing more than listening, helping uncover what else is there. And that can be through reflecting, that can be through questioning. Empathy is a big piece of it as well. When you can help someone feel that you may not completely understand what they're going through, but you can try to see it from where they're coming from rather than only through your worldview. And that all starts with being a good listener.
Well, I love the fact that the word active is in there because you actually have to do quite a few things in order to listen well. You have to not worry about what you're going to say next. Some of the leaders that have always inspired me is they trust themselves that they'll know what to say, but it's more important to be present and to be open-minded. And that does take some action and activity in order to do that well. And we'd always talk a lot about listening, and it's in all communications courses, but truthfully, as a leader, it's a really challenging thing. We've got a lot of different interests competing for your time. You want to
Right.
stay present. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll have leaders list all the things that's expected of them to deliver, and the list is huge.
Right.
And so it is challenging. Working to develop your leadership presence then helps you just be comfortable and be able to be relaxed and be in the moment.
Right.
Because you know who you are, you know how you're showing up and what your values are.
And hopefully you can trust yourself, like you said, to be able to answer the question. But I'll tell you one of the things, and this is a tip for the people listening here. One of the things that we're afraid of, and even seasoned people have this same fear. It's like, if I don't start formulating my answer before they're done, I'm going to sound like I don't have an answer. Well,
Mm-hmm.
everybody, don't be afraid of the pause. There's powerful in pausing and getting your thoughts together. And as a matter of fact, that may even make you look stronger in most moments because you're fully hearing someone out, taking a pause to consider, and then delivering your answer based on your full understanding of what was said. And you know what happens when you do that, Rachelle? If they don't do that, they actually miss what the real question is, and they answer
Yes,
the wrong question.
exactly. Yes.
So, same thing in
Yeah.
conversations. If you're formulating and not truly actively listening, you're probably going to miss the root of the concern.
And truthfully, when you do that, it's just a much better, mutually satisfying conversation. You just lean into being present and staying open. So,
That's right.
any last thoughts you want to impart on people who are going to be attending the conference with us?
Well, I'm super excited to be there to present for the workshop that I'm going to facilitate, but I'm also going to be an attendee. So I really am looking forward to all of the programs. You've got some great speakers lined up. I'm looking forward to the conversations that happen as a result of my workshop, but I'm also looking forward to all the other conversations that happen in the beautiful Canadian Rockies while we're all together there. I know that from past programs that Einblau has put together, there's going to be a super lot of value coming out of this conference, and I just can't wait to meet all of our other fellow attendees when the time comes.
That's great. Thank you, Michael. We are so delighted to have you come join us in November and spend time with you as well. And we're excited to have you meet leaders in this beautiful setting and just really focus on the future of leadership and what's going to help us weather the storms that are ever present, but also how to really enjoy leadership. When I was thinking about presence, it makes it more enjoyable for everyone, but particularly the leader as well, to really feel that it's a higher calling to be able to show up for people in that way. So thank you very much for being one of our speakers at the conference. We can't wait to have you here in person.
My pleasure, Rachelle. I can't wait as well.
Okay,
Thanks.
bye for now.